Welcome to the Popish plot. It's Wacky Wednesday, and today's plot is the man in brown whose overly literal following of divine revelation launched 1,000 religious orders.
That's right. Today we're going to be talking about everybody's favorite saint whom they know next to nothing about, Saint Francis of Assisi. We'll be discussing some of the legends regarding his life, some of the wacky traditions and customs regarding the celebration of his feast day.
Well, at least as much as we can without giving useful information and ruining your favorite misconceptions about him.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. Hey, on the note of not giving them anything useful, do you know what the 3 things are that not even God is sure about?
God knows everything. It's one of his, omni titles.
Yes, God knows everything.
But
could you just...
You want to do a joke?
I'd love to do a joke. Do you know what 3 things not even God is sure of?
I don't know. What 3 things does God not even know?
What the Dominicans are thinking, what the Jesuits are up to, and exactly how many orders of Franciscans there are in the world.
I think that each one might be its own, sub-order. Each person has their own order. Because there are a lot of different orders out there.
There are so many that, according to the joke, not even God knows. For all we know, they could be infinite.
Possibly. So, now that we know there are a whole lot of Franciscans...
Yeah.
We should go back to Francis.
Yes, we should get back to Francis. So, things that they probably know about Francis, and is that he is the patron saint of animals.
Yes.
It's on just about every statue and picture you can find of him.
All the little creatures.
It's how you can tell it's a statue or a picture of Francis, because otherwise he's just dressed like a monk and looks a lot like a lot of saints from that time, from that era.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't, want to accidentally confuse him with St. Anthony.
No.
Suddenly, instead of finding your keys, you got, 5 little Tweety birds following you around.
Of course. But what they probably don't, what the folks out there in internet land probably do not know, is that he's also the patron saint of ecology, merchants, Italy, Cub Scouts, tapestry workers. Seriously?
What?
San Francisco? I'm supposed to believe that the folks out there in internet land don't know that Saint Francis was the patron saint of San Francisco?
What? They are 2 different names. Sure, they sound a lot alike, but how are we supposed to know that St. Francis is in charge of San Francisco?
Okay, so for those of you out there in the internet world, my wife, God bless her, is not good with languages.
Not at all.
She's also not particularly good with spelling.
No, but
San Francisco was named after Saint Francis.
Why didn't they just call it St. Francisville?
Translation from Italian to Spanish.
Ah, okay.
So what else don't you know about Saint Francis?
Well, I know he's a statue you put in your garden.
Okay.
It's a bird feeder, and it has happy little woodland creatures around him. And I know it's a bird feeder because one time he ran out of people to preach to, or he was in between towns of preaching, and so he decided to preach to the birds and the other woodland creatures.
Seriously?
That's seriously.
All right. Well, on the note of animals, have you heard the tale of the Wolf of Gubbio?
No. Does it go whoosh, 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 whoosh?
No, it does not.
That's the sound a tail makes.
I understand, and his tail may have made that noise, but that's not discussed in the story. According to the tale, the town of Gubbio, Italy, was plagued by a wolf that was eating people.
Oh, that's not good.
No, it's not good. So St. Francis went out to see what he could do about the problem.
Okay.
He met with the wolf. He named it Brother Wolf. And he managed to work out a negotiation between Brother Wolf and the residents of Gubbio, wherein the wolf won't eat people anymore as long as they keep him fed. So, St. Francis and Brother Wolf go back into the town of Gubbio, and the wolf lived the rest of his days in the town when he was hungry, he would tap his paw against the door and people would offer him some food.
Mm.
When he died, they buried him, and according to the tale, they later went and built a church on the site.
So, was this wolf also a monk? Is that why he brother wolf?
No, St. Francis was probably the first and definitely the most hippie of all the hippie priests and monks and religious. He ascribed to a philosophy of all one family, wherein every living creature, every living thing was in essence part of the universal family under God. And so therefore everything to which, at least at the time, life could be attributed to, he tended to give it a familial honorific. There's a poem called The Canticle of St. Francis, wherein he has a brother sun, a sister moon, a sister death. There's a whole bunch of other things in there. I'm fairly certain that the list is nearly infinite because, once again, if he could find a way to attribute life, the characteristics of life, to an idea, it got an honorific.
All right, so he called everything brother and sister, but he wasn't like from a family of werewolves, and he didn't have monks that were dogs and cats, right?
No.
Okay.
No. Just Brother Wolf.
All right. Well, as we're trying to keep the people happy here, and we're only going to deal with stuff you can figure out mostly from statuary. Notice that in some statues of him, it appears like he has like injuries on his hands and feet. What's up with that?
That one's actually going to be a bit of fact there.
Oh.
He was the first official stigmatic.
Okay.
A stigmatic, for those of you who aren't familiar with it,
is it someone who can't see good?
No, that's an astigmatism.
Oh, okay.
A stigmatic is someone whose body bears physical representations of the wounds of Christ. Most common ones are typically wounds or unexplained bleeding, or sometimes just painful sensations in the hands, wrists, or feet. Mm-hmm. But some of them even have had wounds on the back from where he was scourged, or around around their brow where the crown of thorns would have rested. There's a cloth that I was reading about from garments that Padre Pio had worn, where it had blood from a stigmata he had on his side.
I know without looking at garden statuary, but from the internet, that Padre Pio also wore brown robes. Is it related to brown robes?
I don't know. Since we're going with things that aren't particularly factual, we could sure enough go with it. For those of you out there, apparently there may possibly be a link between wearing brown robes and experiencing the stigmata. If you're a statistician and you are looking for something that'll keep you busy, feel free to go ahead and crunch those numbers for us and let us know, what the statistical likelihood is of people who wear brown robes developing stigmata.
It's going to be hard to do with the infinite number of Franciscans.
Oh, it'll be a chore of a lifetime.
True. It's probably something like the fact that a lot of the people who have that are monks and nuns, and a lot of the orders wear brown.
Fair enough. So I think that covers all the things that we have to discuss about St. Francis.
Okay.
Do we have anything that we want to share with them about celebrating his feast day?
Well, I've heard that what you eat on this day is honey almond cakes.
It sounds delicious.
It does.
And I bet for a wandering monk, it would probably be a very good thing to have around. I mean, the honey is antimicrobial, it works as a preservative, and it's loaded with energy, so it probably would stay good for quite some time, and at the same time would provide you with the energy that you needed to get from town to town.
Plus, a lot of woodland creatures like honey. That might explain all the woodland creatures following them.
Oh, probably. It'd probably be a good way to get the honey off of your fingertips. Just let the woodland creatures lick it off.
True.
As long as they're not carnivores, they might get a little hungry.
Well, we already discussed that he can speak to the animals like Dr. Dolittle, so, maybe he'd be fine with the carnivores.
Maybe he'd be fine with the carnivores. I also know that most churches on his feast day have blessing of the pets.
So you take your pet into church?
I don't think you take it into church. I know usually it happens separate from the actual service. And at least most churches I've seen, they tend to do it outside with the varying pets that some people have. Not all of them are necessarily good to be brought into a church.
True. So, we eat cake and we bless our pets outside of church. What else are we supposed to be doing today?
Well, enjoying nature. He's the patron saint of ecology. He was probably, before there was such a thing, a naturalist, somebody who wanted to preserve nature, who would want to preserve nature and get out and enjoy the beauty of God's creation.
That does sound like a good thing to do. I mean, it reminds me of that time when he walked through the snow barefoot.
Seriously?
You're right. That wasn't part of a statue. Pay no attention to that fact.
No.
No.
Or how strict his rules for his orders were, or any of that stuff. We don't need to talk about that. And with that, I think we can kind of sort of wrap things up. So remember, if you enjoyed this episode, please click the like button down below. If you have seen a few of our episodes or you just saw this one episode and you you enjoy watching our channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it so you'll be notified when we have new episodes available. Go down below to the comments section. Fill us in with your favorite St. Francis legend or your favorite way of celebrating his feast day. Or perhaps your favorite strange thing to bless. I mean, we talked about pets. I know that you can bless beer. Any strange things you know of that can be blessed?
I know we discussed one time with Deacon. You can bless salt, but you can't put it in your water softener and then have holy water for your shower.
No, the blessing does not transfer that way. Yeah, so remember, until next time, live your faith.
Love your faith.
Share that love.